Good evening, it's about 7:02. This is the June 10, 2015 meeting of the Conservation Commission. This meeting is being broadcast live, gentlemen?
Yes, sure.
Okay. And is also being recorded for rebroadcast. Our meetings are available online at the urbanguide.com website. Before we begin, is anyone present making a recording of this meeting? All right. That being the case, the first item on tonight's agenda is the 7 o'clock public hearing, Franklin Cruz for Deborah DiGiovanni, a request for determination for the construction of a garage at 9 Old Colony Road in Auburn. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. You're on.
Good evening, everyone. I have some copies here, if you guys would like to
Yes, we would.
have one.
Can you confirm the accuracy of what Google's giving us for the location? Sometimes it's good, sometimes not so much.
It should be this one?
Yeah.
This one also, yeah. This one.
So, there we go. Oh, accurate this time, good.
Do you wanna?
Sure.
Okay, good evening. I'm here on representation of the Giovanni family, and we propose on this project is the construction and building of a garage in their property. It is a garage, but the use for it is not gonna be a garage at all. It's just gonna be only for storage.
Okay.
Number one is because in her lot, if you see on the upper right corner of the plan, on the right hand corner, I have marked the proposed area where the building will be, and we have a septic system on the property. The one is not allowed to anybody to drive, any heavy equipment, vehicles over there.
Okay.
So really, it's just gonna be on plans and everything. It will be like a garage structure, but it's not gonna be used at all as a garage. No vehicles will be storage on that area or something like that.
Okay, I don't think I have the right plan. I'm looking at a plan that was, is dated on April 1990.
Yes, but it is the septic system,
All right.
and it is this way. It's right here.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
The property, yes, the property has been marked. The area where we're gonna build it is pretty much, I don't know if you can just move this one down a little bit. It will be somewhere around here in this corner. And we are in 100 feet from the edge of the water. And we have 8 feet more or less from the neighbor's property on the right, and on the back I'm just placing it on 13 feet.
All right, so how far are you away from the bank? We've been to the property.
100.
It's exactly 100 feet?
100 feet.
Okay.
I'm exactly 100 feet because I have the proposal on a 20 by 20. The owners, they are okay if we have to reduce for the size of the building. They are okay with it.
All right.
But we are in 100 feet, and the property is marked and everything.
Now, there's going to be a foundation for this building?
Yes.
And how far are you going down?
I'm gonna be on one side over here because it's a little bit of a hill. I'm gonna go 6 feet, and on the other side I'm gonna do 8 feet.
8?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. I think Ms. Di Giovanni, when you came here the last time, you were thinking of putting the garage actually,
More close to the water.
yes, and
Yeah.
also behind, I think, the shed, instead of it being really below the shed on the side of your home.
We decided to move it over, and we'll use the area by, well, where the sand is to drive the lawnmowers and that to get up into that.
Okay,
So that's what we decided to do.
all right. Any questions?
So it's gonna be a shed with a foundation, or,
It's a garage.
oh, it's a garage,
Yeah,
okay,
it
but it's
is-
not gonna be used as a garage?
No, it's
It'll
not.
store a lawnmower, snow blowers, there'll be a workshop in there for my husband. My daughter has a pottery wheel, she'll be up there with that. You know, that type of stuff. And then the upper floor will be strictly storage of Halloween and Christmas decorations.
I have on a small picture that I can handle to you guys from the building that we
Sure.
wanted to.
Are you gonna run any power to that building?
I'm sorry, say it?
Are you gonna run any power to that building?
We may later, we're not right now.
All right.
It is very small, but it's really, that's what we are expecting to do, something like this. And it's just gonna be only one door in the front. We are not gonna have two doors.
Thank you.
Michael, do you think she should include any electrical at this point, add it into the request so she doesn't have to come back if she decides to, I don't know, maybe it could be overhead wiring?
The thing is that it's not gonna be my responsibility, it'll be my daughter's, because by that time she'll own the house.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why we're not doing anything like
Yeah,
that.
if it was overhead, I guess it wouldn't matter, but
Right.
if she was planning on
Everything is
running
underground
line-
there anyway.
Yeah,
You know, so she'd have to take a charge, and then they'd have to be careful with the septic. So it's
Yeah.
something way down in the future that they can figure out later on.
okay.
You know, and actually, it's more than 100 feet outside the wetland,
So she wouldn't
it
have.
would be in jurisdiction anyway.
Okay.
So,
Sorry.
okay. Any other questions?
Okay, so just so we're clear, it's over here in the corner here by the seal, right? That's where,
Yes.
If you need to turn this right here, that's this pond, we have the street right here. And we have the property right here, so it will be really like right here.
so to me, this is the street.
Yeah.
Okay. If there are no other comments from the board, any comments from the audience? Okay. Okay, in that case, is there a motion to close?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. And do you have any idea what we can find out?
We'll probably render a decision tonight.
Okay.
Okay?
We're gonna call them
Yes, you will.
tomorrow, I'll call you. I just called you out. For our file?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Is this something I can do? Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, I've got that. Alright, so I'm all set with that.
That's the only one you need? Last time they asked me for a couple more.
Well, I'm all set. The board's gonna make a decision tonight, so we don't need any, but,
Oh, okay.
hold on to them. I don't know if the building department might want one
Yes.
anyway, and, okay? I'm all set.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
We have,
I know we received a request for continuance from Mr. Pappas,
right,
so that'll be in 3 minutes.
yeah, just about.
Okay. Were any of you able to get out to Herb Chambers? All right, we have to make a decision tonight, folks. Just keep that in mind. Dan, could you pull up the pictures for 498 Rochdale? When we were making sidewalks a couple of weeks ago, I went by 498 Rochdale just to see what was happening. And it appears that the bottom part of the property is, not only have they reestablished the wetland, but it looks like it's turning into a wet meadow now. So I actually sent an email to Joe Bolino and asked him, just inquired what he thought, and he didn't really have much to say. I don't get the sense that there's any enforcement activity. But when we went out there, there was absolutely no construction activity that was taking place there. We saw some blocks there.
Yeah, that's not really.
You know, the lower part is not pristine, as you can see, but it's very wet, and as you actually go more to the right and in the back, it's all quite wet. Yeah, so it's still a mess. I'm going to have a conversation with Scott Morrison about, what the status is of the project.
And if they're not going ahead with it, there's fill there that needs to be removed now.
There's fill there. There's also an axle that's been there, I think, since last fall when we first saw it. There are building blocks, it's more than crap. But again, it's very wet, so I think the wetland restoration has been successful. So, in any event.
He is moving forward trying to get his building permit. He's with building department.
Who's that?
Joe Goodman?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where it stands.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see what
He's
happens.
getting this package together for the permit.
I see. Okay. Wait a few more seconds.
7:15.
Alrighty then. The next item on tonight's agenda is an application from David Pappas for a notice of intent for a project at 129 West Street in Auburn. And it is my understanding that Mr. Pappas is seeking a continuance, is that right?
That's correct.
Did he say when?
Till the 24th.
Okay. Do we have anything on for June 24th?
I've already scheduled them for 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And I've got one other coming in at 7:15.
Okay. So may I have a motion, please?
I will move that the campus hearing for tonight be continued until June 24th at 7 p.m. as requested.
Second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Okay. So we have 15 minutes. Do you want to try to tackle Herb Chambers?
Get out of the minutes, Dan. Take your pick.
I don't think it'll take 15 minutes to get through these, but why not?
Well,
I did make some changes. They were mostly spelling changes. Under 34 Mill Street, Mr. Robidoux spells his name with an X at the end.
oh, okay.
So.
(705) 2 Winchester Ave, for the construction of a shed with vinyl siding, windows, and a front porch. As opposed to separate pieces just sitting there. See, there's a shed, there's vinyl siding, windows, and a front porch, just separate pieces.
No, he's right. I would concur with that.
Okay.
On page 2, where it says Wallace Avenue, we need a number for that property.
Yeah,
You don't know what it is?
no.
All right, we'll have to go and get it. An enforcement order wasn't issued, is that right?
Nothing, no.
All right, so you need someone to go there, get a house number, report to you what it is so you can issue the enforcement order, is that right?
Well, the problem is it right at the end of William Street?
No,
Is that, no?
no, it's not. No, we know what house it is.
Okay, see, I don't know what house it is, so.
All right,
It's
well,
time for me to look at a map and pick it out.
that was
You
our
know
bad.
who called though, right?
Huh?
You know who called
No.
on Wallace Avenue? Because we went
I
to a
can
specific
check.
house.
I can check.
What happened was
I
that
think
there
it was
was
somebody on William Street that called.
No.
No, it was a call from
No?
someone on Wallace. They were complaining about property across the street.
Right, cutting the trees down.
And when we went to
Yeah.
the property, we saw some violations on their
I
property.
don't think she
Right.
didn't know the number, yeah.
And then a tenant, we talked to a tenant and he doesn't own the property, so we'll have to find out who the owner is. All right, we can find out who that is.
Okay.
For 3 William Street, the second sentence that begins with my name, stated there's an issue with the water adjacent to the abutters that's not stabilized. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. What we noticed was that there was siltation next to the abutters property.
I'm gonna go back up a couple lines.
Sure.
Faith Ave. If that's Jillian, that's probably I-A-N.
That's right, that's,
Oh,
okay. But if, for 3 William Street, the problem was that the erosion control measures had failed, partially failed, and there was siltation that was adjacent to the abutter's property. So what I would suggest is that instead of with the water, I would cross out the water and put in siltation,
yeah, okay.
and just put it adjacent to the abutter's property.
Go down a few lines. Michael Conan stated he will address the problems, including, we can delete plant, and just say including restoration of the shrubs and plants.
Yep. If you go to the next page, it's the 4th line, or it begins with the 4th line. Michael Conan stated there was no construction at the site and the water problems there previously there. So we need to fix that. I think what needs to be put there is stated there was no construction at the site and that there were water problems previously.
Okay.
Next line. Would it be more correct to say the commission could lift the enforcement order?
Yes.
Where it says raise the cease and desist,
Okay.
maybe say lift the enforcement order?
Okay.
And several lines later,
Same thing.
same thing.
Says Michelle Coros. Motion to lift the enforcement order.
And seeing as it's the second time we're mentioning it, we could say EO.
We could say, yeah. I don't know.
But we don't have a list of acronyms.
No.
Like we were going to start doing that at some point. No,
That's true. And those are really the only changes I had.
there.
Neither can Dan.
Yeah, neither can Dan, as a
Whoops.
matter of fact. Oh, you can correct them.
Yeah, so we can't even vote to accept the changes.
I was gonna say.
I was thinking the two
I was gonna put that
meetings
out,
in
but-
May would do, Dan. Would you like to do those for me?
My first answer would be no, but what was the question?
Yes, we're a little bit behind on getting meeting minutes, but that's all right. So I guess if you can make the changes and then circulate revised copies, we
Sure.
should be able just to approve them at the next meeting with no
Mhm.
difficulty. Okay.
Oh, you were? Oh,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Oh, right.
7 minutes.
See?
Too
Yeah,
bad.
fast I forget.
Have we gotten any as-bills?
Michael Cohen. What was that?
For 1 William Street?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to take a look. That should be pretty quick. Do you know, have they started constructing a house on the adjacent lot, 3 Williams?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, the framing is halfway done, I think.
okay. Well, we can take a look and see how the vegetation's coming in. We have not heard from Diamond about Fifth Ave.
No?
All right. So we will carry that forward. Nothing for 20 Jade Hill Road.
Nope.
Okay. So we'll carry that forward as well.
Okay.
Mike, because I'm not gonna be able to make the next meeting,
Mhm.
is there a way that I can vote to approve the minutes when Michelle's here with me? What would we call that? Being absent, or we could just get them approved? Because she's the only one missing to have a quorum, right?
I don't think so. I mean, I know that if you are absent but you watch a meeting, if you watch the recorded meeting, then you can vote on subsequent matters. I don't know that you can mail in an absentee ballot or to approve the meeting minutes, so they may actually have to be continued through to July if you're not going to be here at the next meeting. Are you Mr. Forsberg?
I'm Gordon Forsberg.
Okay.
Yes.
We just, this was posted for 7:30, so we have to wait 5 minutes before we can start the meeting.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd let you know.
I'm just early.
Early is good.
Yep.
So I had sent to you and everybody a copy of this plan for Wallace Ave, the 77 Wallace Ave. And you thought you'd have to file an RDA,
Mm-hmm.
that one. Oh, all right,
And I think he said it was, what, 105 feet?
110.
Yeah, see, I think we have to take a look anyway.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
All righty.
We could get that 100-foot tape measure.
That's right. Do we have any petty cash?
We really should have one.
I have one
We should have one.
at my house. I'll have to see if I can grab it, so no one loses it.
Okay.
Okay,
We will pay you rent. No, we can't do that, but it sounds good.
I'll see if I can get that.
Something we should have. We should- An official tape measure.
All right.
You know?
They've got one of those wheels here.
Do they?
Yeah, unless the highway department took it.
Uh-huh.
They always
Yeah, a lot of
have
times we're in
one.
wetlands. I mean, it'd be good to
Yeah.
have.
I've got a 100-foot tape in the truck.
Oh, yeah?
Those wheels are much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that's why. Good to have both. All right.
And I assume we haven't heard anything about the tree cutting at 430 Rochdale Street?
No?
Okay. I haven't heard anything either.
Would you want me to keep that on there, or will you?
I think so. I think even though clearly someone else is overseeing it,
Yeah.
I think it's just good to keep it on the agenda.
Sure.
What is the status? We sent a letter or something?
What happened is that I spoke to Matt Benoit. Matt Benoit gave me the name of the person at Fisheries and Wildlife who told me that they were in charge and we didn't have jurisdiction.
No? Interesting.
He was, he was polite about it, but also fairly firm.
I didn't know they had jurisdiction over anything in town.
So, well, apparently, and I'm not even sure it's Fisheries and Wildlife, to be honest with you. But I had a conversation with that gentleman, and he said, that they were on top of it, they were monitoring the site. So if there are any issues, and again, while we're doing, if we go out for site walks and we take a walk down there, if we see any problems, we should probably get in touch with them. They will do what needs to be done. All right.
I'm just curious as to why they have jurisdiction over that land.
Because it has a forest, and because they're going to cut it.
Oh,
It's got, you know what, I think it's just a creature of statute. I just think that there's either by statute or regulation or both, that's why they have jurisdiction, even though there are wetlands on that. You would think there would maybe be concurrent jurisdiction, but there isn't,
interesting.
you know? Boy, it just goes really slowly when you're waiting, doesn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
What's so rare for us to be
I
this
know.
efficient?
I know. I beg your pardon?
Space, sir.
Something really cool about that from June and something about how's life. It's like taking way too long or something. Dragging on.
All right, it's 7:30. The next matter on our agenda is an application from Gordon Forsberg Jr., doing business as GUB Realty, a request for determination for the installation of a fence on property located at 3 Jacobson Drive in Auburn. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Let's vote. Mr. Forsberg, you're up. Tell us what you
Hello.
wanted.
I wear hearing aids, so if I'm a little too loud or I don't hear what your response, I know that's a little loud right behind me, so I'll do the best I can. Last night
Not a problem.
was, but yeah, this is the property that my elderly, is owned by my parents. My father just passed away a couple months ago. It's been on the market for 5 years, officially with a realtor 3 years. We have had a few interested parties, but it's 12 acres of land, a commercial building, a residential building, and it costs a fortune to maintain. And the reason for me wanting to have a fence put up is the recovery company that is using the front office of the gift shop needs it for insurance purposes for their business. And the fence, the fence that they're going to use is a 6-foot chain link fence, and it's going to come off. It's going to come approximately from the beginning of the parking lot, which is underneath the tree, where you can imagine the gray being. It's going to come out 70 feet, this straight out, and then 40 feet this way, about the same amount, 70 to 80 feet this way, and then across, and there'll be a swinging or a fence. I talked with Joe Miller, who owns Miller Fence Company, and he's given me kind of an estimate for what it's going to cost. Last night in the planning board meeting, their requirement was that it obviously needs to stay on the pavement. It cannot be on any part of the grass. And they wanted it, my rendition of that was not previously just on the pavement. It had gone into it had extended this way to square off with this building, and they weren't in favor of that. They also wanted me to have assigned parking, a better parking plan, because I have the recovery company in the gift shop, I have a candle company here, and I have an underground construction company in the back building. And you know, there's now going to be, you know, parking spaces for everyone. 21 assigned parking spaces.
Okay.
So we've got a better plan on that, and they seem to be holding to that plan, and I'm going to redo a rendition of it for them on the and have it submitted for the 17th or the 23rd of June meeting. But for what I need permission from you is, because we have the flood control here, and you know, this was always a parking lot for my sister's gift shop, and parking for the other wholesale part of the business, which was my parents. The residential doesn't really affect anything there, but you know, I think we're well within our bounds, I believe, of being, we're pretty far away from that, although the end of the parking lot is, you know, the end of the parking
Well,
lot,
can you
where
tell us how
most
far
cars.
it is?
Do you know exactly the closest you come to that drainage canal there?
Yeah, I mean, it would, if you were to walk, you know, and pace it off. See, a septic, the town of Worcester put in a septic line, huge sewer line that went all the way down here and then around the back.
So is there an easement for that too on that side?
Well, it doesn't affect what I'm proposing with my fence lot. If there is an easement, I don't know, but I know that the sewer line went in years ago, in the 80s, you know, early 80s. The shop was built in the 60s, 70s, and in the 80s for the different buildings. And this house is there from the 50s. And when my father bought that house, he owned all the way, you know, up here on Route 20, and they took that land from him, eminent domain, when they put in the diversion canal. So, I mean, this is probably to the edge here, and then it's a steep grade that goes all the way down, and then to the water.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is probably 10 yards from here to here, 30 feet, maybe 10 yards, 20, might not be 30 feet, maybe 25 feet in different locations of the grass. You know, here it's a little closer.
But what about from the edge of the pavement to the edge of the water?
Oh, the edge of the water,
Because our concern is going to be whether that's within 100 feet.
If it's 100
Well,
feet,
just speaking for myself, my concern would be if you're going to have a section of this paved area that's going to have storage of vehicles, whether that's within 100 feet of the edge of the water buffer zone.
right. So do you think, but
Thank you.
it's a recovery company. The cars are there temporarily. They're not there permanently like a used car lot or which up and down Route 20, the new car lots, the used car lots. I mean, they're every mile. You know, it's the new car lot line. And I always thought that this would be perfect for Lundgren Honda, and they have looked, and they've looked at it, but nobody's bought it yet. I mean, I wish some car dealership would buy the whole piece of property, 12 acres of land, another nice, car dealership. But for now,
Storage, but for what duration of time? I mean,
Well,
we're talking
it's-
about overnight, or are we talking about
They're-
for several days?
They're a
or-
repossession company, so they don't own these vehicles. These vehicles come in there, they stay there for a little, there's a holding lot, and then they're out of there.
Mhm.
So, but for insurance purposes, their insurance purposes, they need a fenced-in lot.
Right.
You know, and right now, there isn't a fenced-in lot. Right now, they're keeping the vehicles on the pavement, and there's more vehicles than I would like to see, because but
Right.
that's,
But I mean, our.
but that isn't anything that I can't be a police officer too,
Right.
and although I'm starting to feel like it.
But among our conservation concerns are gonna be how close it is to the edge of the wetland.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Well, is it in the buffer zone?
We're, you know, and when my sister had her gift shop there, you know, there were, when it was a busy season, that parking lot was full of cars. And,
Right, but they wouldn't have been parked overnight for
Correct.
days and days and
Correct.
days. I mean, I think there's a
Right.
differentiation there.
Right.
I mean, because if it is a car lot of some sort, this is storage of vehicles in the buffer zone. If it's within 100 feet. It's not the same as parking a vehicle at a business and then 2
Right.
hours later it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, I think even before we get to that issue, I'm still unclear as to how far the edge of the paved
Right, that's my
parking is
concern.
from
right.
the diversion channel. So now you say you're going back to the planning board on the 17th.
Yes, sir.
What I would prefer, again speaking for myself, is that if you could come back at our next meeting and just give us some measurements, tell us how far the
From
edge of
the water.
paved lot is from the water, the bank of
Yeah.
the channel. That would that would help us, I think, to make a better informed decision.
Yeah, I think.
Do you want it to measure
the
from the
closest
top of the
point
channel
is-
or from where the water is?
Well, I was
That's
gonna
the
The closest
difference.
point.
It would be nice to have both. It would be
Right.
nice to have what the measurement is to the water and what the measurement is to the bank.
Right.
Those two things along this line, maybe at the closest point at least, you know, the two measurements of that. Then, because all of our regulations specify these zones and this exact footage that we talk about. So if we don't know, I mean, we could take a guess, but the best thing would be to have you have this measured and let us know.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Our meeting is the next night, the 24th.
That's fine,
So
yeah,
it's not gonna be
yeah.
a big delay.
No, I have some other homework to do, so I have 2 homework assignments rather than
Yeah.
1.
Okay.
Perfect.
This is
Perfectly
not
fine.
your typical fence. This is going to be a 10-foot high fence or something
Six.
stronger?
chain link
Just
fence.
6-foot chain link fence, and they're gonna have like it's a green,
mesh.
yeah, a green mesh so that it's not see-through.
So they're going to actually drill through the pavement to install this, right?
They're going to put in temporary posts.
Okay.
You'd have a drill, I would imagine that a drill, it's a
Auger.
an auger, yes, you have. It's
Chain
a
link, maybe 2.5. They don't go far.
Yeah.
concrete, yeah, the auger. Joe Miller, who owns Miller Fence, has it. He just puts it in, and then those posts, you can move those.
I see.
So they're in there, they're not there permanently. You pull them out, and so it's a temporary fence.
Given this printout here, it looks like it would be good to have at least the distances on the three points
Well,
of the
they're not-
corners of the fence.
If I understood you correctly, you're not putting a fence in this area now.
No, the
You're going to
fence,
have it on
longer.
the pavement only.
the fence,
Okay.
the fence is only going to be on the concrete
Okay.
where the black dots are. And then it will probably be off of the A-frame building.
Okay.
And that's just because they have to have it secure and for their, it has to be closure to, so that someone can't just walk in and
Right.
go in there. It needs to be a secure fenced-in area.
Sure.
Yep. And so I will get you all of those measurements. I wish I, well, we
It's
had
okay. You live and you learn, right?
it's a process that we have to,
That's right.
we have to go through. So.
What time do we have open on?
7:30 we're going to put it.
Okay, great.
Are
So-
you agreeable to continue this to June 24th at 7:30?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So we're
fantastic.
going to make a motion?
I move that we continue this hearing
So that would be the 24th.
6:24.
That's right.
to the
7:30.
24th at 7:30 PM.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. All right, thank you, Mr.
Thank
Ford. Thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, good night.
Tonight.
Right.
Yep.
We have a couple minutes before 7:45.
Probably apropos of nothing, the formerly proposed site for the Lowe's,
Yes.
that site, I don't know when it happened, but I certainly noticed that as of spring, the site is no longer fenced. For, I'd say for years, there was a boundary fence that there were a couple sections where the fence had been knocked down, but otherwise it was fenced. And I've noticed for at least 4 or 5 months, there's no boundary fence anymore, so I'm guessing it's up for, it may be posted, I guess it's up for sale again.
I think it was sold.
Was it sold again?
Well, I don't know if it was
Okay.
sold again.
I haven't seen a new fence go up yet, so.
Wow, construction site still, is it?
No, I don't think so.
No, they never,
They just never took it out.
I mean, it's got all the old, it's got the, you have the like tile flooring and concrete flooring and stuff that was never, because they never started construction over there. It's all construction and demolition debris.
The Yankee, was it
Yankee drummer.
Yankee drummer, yeah, I worked there. as an
So,
electrician.
I don't know what the fate of that site's gonna be
You
now.
did?
his aunt.
My aunt.
Oh.
Yeah,
Not
he was
that
a
old.
waitress.
Come on, jeez.
Say waitress.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
My grandfather was a night watchman there for many years. He came out in 22 now, he's gone. 7 years ago.
Okay. 1 minute.
That's right, probably even less.
Fraction thereof.
When do they start the hockey game?
8 o'clock.
We got the eye
Oh, there's always a game on.
Okay, next item on our agenda is 7:45, public hearing. Bryce and Laura Keeler, request for determination for the filling of a borrow pit at property located at 526 Rochdale Street. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, it's a vote. Good evening.
Good evening.
We went out to your property a couple weeks ago,
Okay.
We did.
and we had a chance to look at your borrow pit on the road.
Yep.
And it was dry. And I went with Mr. Olson and Mr. Fallon, and I think it was the consensus of the three of us that it wasn't a wetlands. And it didn't look like it wasn't isolated land subject to flooding either.
No.
So is your intention to move your driveway?
Eventually, if we can afford it.
I understand. Because, and you're right about that term, because it's,
The further you get away from that
Quite the adventure.
corner,
Yeah.
the
Right.
better.
yeah. Okay. Any questions from the board?
No.
Okay. Anyone from the audience have any questions regarding 526 Rochdale Street?
Oh, I just hope it went through for them.
Okay. All right.
What's your name?
I'm Nicole.
Nicole, okay. Are you a neighbor?
Yes.
Okay, we want to give you your last name?
It's okay.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
All right. Is there a motion to close?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Do
we
we want
didn't
to
give
render
you,
a decision on this now?
Yes, I do, thank you.
do you want the copies of the original?
Can I have,
Oh, yeah, I have copies. What do you want, originals or
It doesn't
copies?
really matter.
Okay,
is there a motion?
What do you
I'd
want?
like to move
doesn't
to
matter.
Take the originals.
if our
Thanks.
Oh, this,
So I'll
Scrivener
be getting in touch with
is
the
so
commissioner. about
inclined to let me.
she's not paying
She needs to be
attention.
paying attention first.
Determination.
Oh, Sheila.
Yeah, I'd actually like to move on this right now.
Oh,
So I'd like to make a
wonderful.
motion that we issue a negative determination in this matter of 526 Rochdale Street.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote.
There we go.
Great.
Done.
We're all set. So we will,
So you're all set.
we'll issue a decision, or should prepare a decision you'll get in the next couple of days.
Okay.
Okay? Okay?
All right.
In the mail?
Okay?
Yep.
Thank
Or
you.
you can come in and get it, whichever.
The mail is fine.
Okay.
All right.
All right,
Okay,
and
thank
then
you
we're
for
all
coming in.
set?
Yes, you are.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Coming certified mail,
Okay.
return receipt, so.
Just so you don't
We
have
got,
to wait.
we'll sign it. and
Okay,
mail it.
that's
It's a long one.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Have a good night.
All right.
Thanks for coming in.
Nice to see you both.
Thanks for all your help.
Well,
I just didn't want people to have to go home wondering.
Well, I was just gonna say, look, I just was telling them if they wanted to stick around, they're probably gonna be voting soon. Thank you, Chuck.
All right.
Okay, so regarding Deborah Di Giovanni, the property at 9 Old Colony Road, is there a motion? This is the garage. I don't,
Oh. Any discussion about this?
well, is there a discussion?
Well, the closest point is just at the edge of the buffer zone.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
I don't see that we really have an issue.
I have is how far they're going down.
He told us, he said it's gonna be 8 feet on one side and 6 feet on the other, so what I think we can do is we could, I mean, I'm just suggesting, what we could do is issue a name determination, provide that they put in a silt fence and erosion
Right.
control measures.
I think that's fair.
And also, to remove any material that's gonna be excavated should be taken off site. So is there a motion?
I make a motion, what you decide.
No, you can't, no.
I make a motion, we issue a negative determination with the stipulation that they install a silt fence and erosion control measures and remove any excess material from the site.
Any excavated material?
Excavated material.
Excavating materials, yeah.
Okay,
I will second that.
all right, is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, it's a vote. Okay.
Excellent idea.
Okay, so here we go.
And we've saved the best for last.
Oh, can we do signature sheet for the other one too, right?
Yes.
Sent them on their merry way, though.
Okay, so this one is.
Did you notice that Killington didn't make it to June? They made it to like May 27th or something, and they're like, nope, sorry folks, we didn't make it.
I weren't making any money.
Well, no, and also the pieces were discontinued, so like you couldn't get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Never ended up getting there this season, did you?
No.
Yeah, it's too bad. Ah, well,
One.
how many days did you get in? It's less than 10.
Yeah. I went to Garrett.
Get a couple powder days, hopefully.
Oh.
Oh, nice.
We're offering deals at Sunday River in Sugarloaf. You buy a two-day pass to Sugarloaf for $109.
Yeah, I think you
For
meant.
82 days, like holidays, doesn't matter.
I'm curious about the mountain biking up at Sugarloaf now. Apparently they got some nice cross-country trails up there. That's a heck of a trip though to make for mountain biking though. When I can just go to Burke and go to Kingdom Trails, you know.
Although you said you're walking or something, right?
Whereabouts?
Some areas.
Oh yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed. It's totally changed the vibe of a couple of the trails, but you know, that's the thing. When you 55 different landowners and they decide to do some logging, as long as they're complying with the law, you're just a mountain bicyclist. But I'm glad I rode it like half a dozen times before, so I can remember. This is probably gonna take 20 years for it to grow back to look anywhere like it did. It almost looked like a clear cut.
Oh, wow.
Disappointing. You can tell, like, you know, they must have dragged skidders and everything with all the splinters. Yeah, it's just kind of.
I wonder if that's what they're gonna do over there on March.
Certificate of compliance.
I don't think I've looked at this plan in a while.
Well, this is the time to do it.
recent development?
Well, they're waiting for us to make a decision. It was a public hearing at the last meeting. We're within the 21-day period to issue a decision, but we have to do it tonight. And so what they're proposing is they're going to renaturalize, basically give us wetland replication in this area over here.
Right.
Because now,
You're right. What was the distance there to the corner of the
there is
building?
basically no distance. It's like, right, it's maybe 3 feet away. So clearly it was within the 25-foot no build
Right.
zone, which means we have to give them a waiver. If we don't give them a waiver, they can't do it. And so we have to go through our analysis, and I will go through.
Right.
Why don't you take a look at this? And then we'll go through the criteria. So anyway, these are the criteria that we have to consider before we can issue a waiver. Okay. All right, the work that's being proposed, or part of the work that's being proposed is within the 25-foot no-build zone. Okay. We can, and I'll just read it from 1.11 of our regulations. Strict compliance, or is it the bylaw? Strict compliance with these rules and regulations may be waived when, in the judgment of the Commission, A, such action would serve a substantial public interest. 2, such action is required for compliance with the Mass Contingency Plan. C, strict compliance would result in severe economic hardship, greater magnitude than the public interest to be served. And then it says, no waiver shall be granted unless the Commission determines that A, there are no practicable alternatives to the proposed action, B, alteration of the resource area has been minimized to the greatest extent practicable, and C, compensatory and mitigating measures are taken even at an off-site location to protect the public interest and protect a resource area to be removed, filled, dredged, built upon, or altered. Now, technically speaking, there isn't an alteration, but it's the work is being done right abutting to the wetland area. So I guess the question is, under these criteria, and if you will remember the presentation from Mr. Andre, there are wetlands on the other side, and so it's their position that this is the only place they can build their addition.
Right, but the thing is, if I'm reading this properly, they're not as close on the other side, right?
Correct.
I mean, just speaking for myself, it seems like this situation's a bad precedent to be giving a waiver on the 25-foot no-build zone.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've done it 2 other times, and again, I mean, I think each case we have to consider each project as they come up individually.
Well, the only one that goes into the 25-foot is this renaturalized thing, isn't it?
But what's the previous footprint of the building, though?
It's in there. It's in the plans.
So they basically just kind of butted it up as far as they could to the no-build zone on that side.
That's exactly right. Okay, look at this is the current building.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if you compare the two, they're. I'll just put this up against the big
Yeah, I
one.
want to see that one, if you don't mind.
So the new
This
building is
one go over
substantially
here,
bigger.
And this one go over here, like a move over here. And it's bigger.
Probably almost double in size. And the whole purpose is they want to expand their service area.
Now with this, have they kept any of this the same and just move over this way, or are they gonna tear this whole thing
They're
down?
not going to tear it down.
Just renovate inside.
Using all this parking there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, they are
Well,
going
that's
to
why they're doing it.
they're going to make changes on the other side. Let's see, that would be the easterly side.
So I think,
So they are going to make changes on the easterly side. But there's no question, the majority of the building is going to be constructed on the west side.
looks like formerly the building ends like right here. But it looks like the back line of the building that's exactly the way
Yeah, I
it
don't
was.
think that the back line's changed, but there's no question that the building's going to be double in size, and it's going to go to the west.
So,
So the question then becomes, you
so
know,
do they even need the waiver?
is there
Let's just go in there.
well, no, they need the waiver because it's definitely within the 25-foot no-build zone. That's why they filed with us, and
So
that's
it looks
why
like
they
it's
need
just
the
on
waiver.
the line.
But they're building this wall.
Oh, I see, that's right. Yeah, okay.
Well, and at that point, it's
That's in
right
there.
at, it's sitting in the
It's
water
in there.
almost.
It's in there, yeah.
Now, I went out there, and it's dry. I mean, there's nothing, it's a wetland. But, I mean, it's not a particularly wet wetland.
Yeah, they're going to disturb 340 square feet in a 25-foot zone.
Okay. But mostly for this wall and the stairs.
I mean, the disruption is, the stairs are already there. That's the pedestrian walkway
Oh,
that they
right.
put in last year, if you
Yeah.
remember. And so really, this construction is gonna abut, this building, the new building is gonna abut that walkway.
I guess the question that comes to my mind is, has this project been in the pipeline from its inception back to before we instituted the 25-foot no-build zone, or did this project, was it first filed after that change had been made?
No, it was filed afterwards.
So they knew from the inception of this plan that the 25 no-build zone was a thing.
I can't speak for what Mr. Andres' knowledge was.
They would have
But
been
the regulations
obligated
were
to know.
Were a public record.
Well, it was a year ago, February, right? We adopted that regulation. I think they're just trying to...
Because it just seems like this is pushing the envelope, like deliberately pushing. I'm not going to speak for anybody else but myself, but it just, I mean, the whole idea of the 25-foot no-build zone was, it's like, okay, guys, we'll be more real. We'll be.
Maybe it'd be better if the wall was along the 25-foot zone. Then we wouldn't have an issue at all.
Right, but it's like their feet are in the water.
The way I see it is that if we do not issue the waiver, they cannot build this. Now, what they could do is, of course, is they could submit a revised plan.
I mean, did they give us an alternate
No, they
footprint
did
for the
not.
building?
No, absolutely not. So it's really pretty simple. If the board decides to give them a waiver, they can build. If the board decides not to issue the waiver, then I think we have to issue a negative order of conditions. And we can, basically, on the grounds that they did not satisfy the criteria under 1.11 of our regulations to receive a waiver. So that's what the issue is.
Yeah, and there's certainly, what were the conditions where we give a waiver? That there was no possible alternative. I think there's a possible alternative.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to go over them again. That's because the criteria are important. Okay. Strict compliance can be waived if it's in our judgment that such action would serve a substantial public interest. I don't see a public
No.
interest here. B, such action is required for compliance with the Mass Contingency Plan. That's not
No.
applicable either. C, strict compliance would result in severe economic hardship greater in magnitude than the public interest to be served.
There is no public interest. So.
And then, so under those three criteria, there's a problem. And then it says, no waiver shall be granted unless the commission determines that there are no practicable alternatives to the proposed action. Alteration of the resource area has been minimized to the greatest extent practicable, and compensatory and mitigating measures are taken even at an off-site location to protect the public interest in the protected resource area to be removed, filled, dredged, built upon, or altered.
Yeah.
And the burden of proof is on the applicant to demonstrate that the proposed project meets the standards defined in this section.
So, even on, forget all the beginning ones, I can imagine you could build this without going in. I'm not gonna advise them how to do that, but I can see,
On page 2, they have the stated reasons of how it's meeting A, B, and C, and A, B, and C.
That was 710.
Where is that? Oh, you're talking about
It's in the notice of intent. Here it is right here.
the job
Yeah.
going to. All right.
Proposed intersection east to this area.
And the thing is, I mean, if we weren't given an alternate footprint,
Well, what has been represented is that there is no alternative.
well,
But the question is,
According to this,
we know, yeah,
You weren't here
we know
last
how that
meeting,
goes.
you didn't hear the proposal.
I mean, it seems to me that if we grant the waiver in this case, it kind of guts the intention of having the 25-foot no-build zone.
did you see the last meeting on the recorded,
I did not.
then you can't vote?
Okay.
Okay. But the four of us were here. All right. Is there a motion?
Well, I wasn't at that meeting, so
Are you serious?
that was the one, April 22nd.
I'm talking about the last meeting. You heard the last
I was
meeting.
at the last meeting.
Yeah.
Yes, I was.
And Mr. Andrew made his presentation, if you recall, the last meeting,
Okay.
and we closed it, so you can't vote. So the four of us, Tom,
All right.
Reese, and the two of us
I
can
thought it
vote.
was the 22nd, we were both the same time.
That's okay.
He explained why they wouldn't be able to continue with the building if they didn't get the waiver.
Mhm.
It has to be that size for the purpose.
Mhm.
Well,
I mean, I think the question is, can they either reorient the building so that it's more easterly, or can they reduce the footprint so that it meets their needs without intruding in the 25-foot build zone? That's really the question.
yeah, I mean, I don't see how.
And the thing is, they wouldn't, I mean, maybe I can't vote, but in any case,
You'll argue
you can
for,
certainly-
advocate for a
You
position.
can
though.
advocate,
But
but that's what I'm looking for.
the thing is, it doesn't seem like it was necessary for them to drive this to the wall, no pun intended. I mean, the
No,
building
maybe
could be
build
drawn
that.
back, what, 10 feet in one dimension? And then this wouldn't be as much of a putting your feet in the water saying, well, you've got a 25-foot no-build zone, but we're dancing on the edge of it.
Right.
They didn't
Yeah, no, I
They
agree.
didn't have to do that, and that's the way I'm looking at it. Is they didn't have to say, oh well, we've got a 25-foot no-build zone. We're going to push that all the way to the edge.
Of the building, and then put something right
Right.
on. And they made a point in here of saying, well, at least we're not putting it in the wetland. I mean,
That's not even.
That's not-
Did they? Did
Yes,
they
it says that.
basically say that? That's not even. Yeah.
So, I'm inclined to give the negative order of conditions.
Okay.
Make the motion.
The motion would be not to grant them the waiver?
Correct.
And I'm abstaining.
You have to abstain. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstaining.
It's a vote. All right, and just for the record, the reason why we are issuing the negative order of conditions, or no order of conditions in this case, is that based on our review of the materials, site walks, and discussion and consideration by the members of this board, we have determined that this project in its present form does not satisfy the criteria set forth under 1.11 of our regulations to justify the issuance of a waiver. Specifically, in our determination, it does not serve a substantial public interest. It's not required for compliance with the Mass Contingency Plan, and it has not been proven that strict compliance would result in severe economic hardship greater than the magnitude of public interest to be served. The board also feels that there may be practical alternatives, and for that reason, the board is not going to grant the request of the applicant for a waiver of our regulations. That being said, because the project as submitted does not comply with our regulations, we have to issue a negative order of conditions. Okay?
Do we also put in a suggestion, or, well, we don't give advisory opinions, so.
Absolutely not. We've made our decision. They wish to appeal, they can appeal.
So
Okay,
the motion was made and seconded to not grant the waiver, and then do we have to do a vote for the negative order of conditions? We have-
well, with what I suggested, all right, sure.
I'm just guessing. He can't do anything. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Dan.
Yeah.
Chuck.
Based on the fact that we have decided not to issue a waiver, is there a motion?
This is voting on whether to order negative order of conditions.
Right.
Correct.
I move that we issue a negative order of conditions. I thought I already made that motion.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Abstaining.
Opposed? Abstaining? It's a vote.
All right.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else on the agenda? You'll need to circulate a signature page, Sheila.
Circulate what?
A signature page, a
Oh,
negative order of conditions.
sorry.
That's all right.
All right, there's a signature page right here, ready to go. There you go.
And what I will do is I will prepare a narrative that, and I'll send that to you tomorrow.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Some more stuff in here. It's chewy.
Is there a separate one?
Careful with the filming.
Slide you check off.
Slide check off, okay.
Yeah.
Call it thread thing.
Ooh,
You know.
that'll help, I hope.
All that.
Here, in the soffit.
No.
Time flies.
Hasn't it?
Cold sore.
Did they hire somebody yet?
What is it when it goes
Yes.
back?
They did.
Yeah, she's been there, I think, 2 weeks.
When what does?
That's a
What weeks, just-
Stuff that's draining.
Postnasal drip?
Dive right in, right? Dive right in the water, don't just step, don't dip your toe in the water, dive right
She
in.
said she's gonna be better, and she said she's usually to me, and she's gonna
Yeah, it's strong, pretty strong.
Nice girl, really,
That's some bad.
very personable.
Oh, yeah, I can't do that.
Very nice.
Sorry, Mike, I can't do that.
And is that my notice of intent right there?
This one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Thank you.
This one?
No,
Yeah.
the plans. Get everything done.
Is there anything else?
Definitely not there.
MacGyver trying to get a walk or something.
Ah,
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those
Were
in
you
favor?
here? That's
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote.